Tonight on Size Eyes on the Skies.
Good evening, everybody. As we take a look out across the Memorial Union tonight, it's been a very soggy, cold day here in Iowa. I'll have more on that and stuff going on around the nation coming up.
Plus, we'll have a look at the national forecast. Size Eyes on the Skies for Tuesday, March 22nd starts now.
Broadcasting live from the studios at Hamilton Hall at Iowa State University, the Iowa State Meteorology Department brings you the latest weather from across the country and out your front door. This is Size Eyes on the Skies.
Tonight's weather story. On this day in history in 1999, a Category 5 tropical cyclone Vance came ashore in Australia, bringing much destruction in water and power supplies throughout. Gascogne and goldfields were disrupted, and many homesteads sustained wind or flooding damage. The main rail and road links to the eastern United States were completely cut. The storm surge was greater than 15 feet, and as much as 12 inches of rain fell. Also on this day, U.S. Air Flight 405 was scheduled to depart from a New York airport for Cleveland, but due to a delay at the gate, a winter storm dropped 4 inches of snow before the plane was able to take off, and a large amount of ice collected on the wings and airframe. The airplane crashed during takeoff, and sadly, 51 people died. To discuss more on what's happening around the country, here's AJ with a look at our national forecast.
Thank you, Lexie. Good evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist, Size Eyes meteorologist AJ Rickman. We have a lot to get to tonight with the national weather. These are the Iowa headlines, but we have a severe weather outbreak going on in the south, and we have a lot of flooding to go with that rain, or to go with that severe weather outbreak. However, we're going to watch the system move out, and we'll have a quiet weekend ahead for the nation. I'll have more on that coming up.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Now let's have a look at what is happening around the nation with AJ.
Good evening, everybody. Taking a look at what's going on around the country tonight, starting with a look at our temperatures. You can see where we've got a pretty strong cold front starting off, or where it's continuing to push through here in through Mississippi, Alabama, and then as it stretches on up into the Ohio River Valley. And right along here where we have a pretty bad severe weather outbreak going on right now. Behind it, we've got a pretty good pocket of cold air that's pushing in. And overall, we've got quite a bit to get to. As we take a look at our current satellite radar, again, you can see exactly where all that rain and all those storms are popping up right along that cold front. And we've got a lot of rain out behind it as well that's given us a good shot of rain up here in Iowa. And a pretty strong squall line pushing through Alabama right now, bringing a lot of wind and a lot of damaging storms. And as we take a look at our watches and warnings right now, we've got a pretty good amount of stuff going on in the southeast. So as we zoom in on that for a minute, I just wanted to point out a couple things. This yellow, this is a tornado watch. So all across most of Alabama, southern Mississippi, far eastern Louisiana, you guys are going to want to keep an eye on this and watch the weather going on around you as you go through the night tonight. And right here, that is an active tornado warning. So if you are in southeast Alabama, you guys need to pay attention to your local news station, see exactly where the storm is tracking, and get information from them and follow their instructions if they tell you to take cover. Looking out behind where the rain's already pushed through, you can see a lot of lingering flood warnings through the area and a lot of river flood warnings. And again, just had a fresh tornado warning pop up there. Again, your local news stations will give you better information than I can. You need to tune into them if you're in this area and follow their instructions as far as getting to a safe structure. But even behind it, again, keep an eye out for river flooding, flash flooding. As we go through the next couple of days, there's going to be a lot of that as waters recede, and looking out areas to the east of this, keep an eye out because this rain's coming your way. And as we take a look at the severe weather outlook for today. You can see exactly where that bullseye is, pretty much exactly just a little bit to the west where that tornado watch was. But it's going to be pushing to the east as we get into the night tonight. Alabama, Georgia, you guys are going to want to keep an eye on this as we go through the night tonight into the day tomorrow. And as we take a look at the severe weather outlook for tomorrow, like I said, far western Alabama, you guys, or far eastern Alabama, excuse me, you guys will be on the tail end of this by tomorrow morning, but Georgia, the Florida Panhandle, the Carolinas, you guys are going to want to keep an eye out, especially even up into Ohio and Indiana, kind of hidden behind the title there, the headline there. But you guys are going to want to keep an eye out throughout the course of the day tomorrow. Pay attention to your local news stations, keep your weather radios on, keep your phones turned up for weather alerts, and be ready for some severe storms. And as we go into Thursday, it should, for the most part, kind of die out. It'll push off the coast and kind of be out of our hair for the weekend. But still, along the Carolina coast, Georgia coast, down into Florida, and up into Virginia and Maryland, keep an eye out for a couple rumbles of thunder. Can't rule out the possibility of an isolated severe storm here or there, so that's something you guys going into Thursday are also going to want to keep an eye on. And taking a look at our future cast as we watch this storm continue to push off across the rest of the country. As we go into the morning tomorrow, you can see where that line of storms is pushed through Alabama and where it's just getting into the Atlanta area. So Atlanta, you guys there that are commuting to work, keep an eye on this, drive carefully, and keep an eye out for any severe watches and warnings that might pop up. As we go through the day on Wednesday, we're going to watch that continue to push off into the Carolinas and up into the Northeast. There's going to be a lot of rain with this system, so even if you're not under severe thunderstorm watch or tornado watch, keep an eye on the weather. If you're driving near any rivers, if you're in that area, if you live in a floodplain, you're going to want to keep an eye on the water level, keep an eye on any watches and warnings related to floods that might be issued for that area. As we go through the rest of the day on Wednesday and into Thursday morning, you can see this system continues to push off. We've got a lot of lingering moisture back in the Midwest area that's going to be giving us a lot of precipitation in this area as well. And then as we push through the rest of the day on Thursday, that'll move out of the Midwest and up into the Great Lakes region. But the Northeast, you guys are still going to be getting a lot of rain from this system. And then as we push through the night on Thursday into the day on Friday, we'll watch the bulk of this system push off the coast finally and get out of our hair in time for the weekend. As we take a look at our rainfall forecast that we can expect to get from the system, really everywhere from the Mississippi River to the east, you guys are going to get a lot of rain out of this storm. Even areas, Missouri, Iowa, we're going to be getting a good shot of rain from this storm. So again, keep an eye out. Be mindful for any flood watches or flood warnings that you might get, and keep an eye on any rivers. If you, again, live near a river, live in a floodplain, just be mindful that there's going to more than likely be some flooding, and be careful if you're out on the roads. And taking a look at the week ahead in Montgomery, Alabama, as we go through the night tonight into the day tomorrow, I expect to have, you guys are going to get a pretty good shot of storms, so be mindful of that. It should push out by the end of the day tomorrow, though. And then as we go through the rest of the week, it's going to cool off a little bit, but then we're expecting to have a pretty good warm-up in that area by early next week.
Thank you, AJ, for that forecast. Now let's take a look at tonight's trivia question. What is the record number of tornadoes in March in the United States? Is it A, 30 tornadoes, B, 180 tornadoes, C, 201 tornadoes, or D, 306 tornadoes? We'll have your answer coming right up. Now, let's have a look at the week ahead with AJ.
Good evening, everybody. Taking a look at the Iowa forecast right now. We'll start with our current temperatures across the region. And you can see there's a pretty strong gradient, or just kind of polar opposite temperature profiles as you look at the eastern side versus the western side of the state. Here in the eastern side, we're still in the warm sector of the system that's pushing through right now, giving us all this rain. You're in the mid to upper 50s, 56 down in Burlington's your warm spot. But then as we look over here to the far western side of the state, 37 in Spencer, 39 in Sioux City. Some of those areas have been seeing snow mix in with the rain at times. So very, very strong difference in temperature across the state right now. As we take a look at our satellite and radar, like I said, you can see where the rain's been changing over to snow in areas over in eastern Iowa. But across the entire state, it's just been a washout today. There's been a lot of rain. Rivers have been up, roads have been wet, and it's just really been a washout for the entire day. And I expect to see more of that as we go through the night into tomorrow. And taking a look, current conditions outside of the MU here at Iowa State, 47 degrees, Raining, it's kind of on the warm side compared to where we ought to be for this time of year, but still with the rain falling, it just kind of feels raw and nasty outside. You got a northwest wind at 13 miles an hour, and the feels like temperature, we're down to 41 degrees. And as we take a look at our future cast, as we go through the night tonight into the day tomorrow, we're going to see a lot of rain lingering around. Ames, Des Moines, you guys are going to be right there on that rain-snow line, right there along I-35. And as we go through the day Wednesday, again, that moisture is going to just kind of linger. Expect to have it clear out by the end of the day Wednesday into Thursday. And then as we go through the day Friday, we'll expect to see some of those clouds breaking up and clearing. And going through the end of the week into the weekend, where I expect to see some clear skies coming in. And as we go through Saturday, again, skies remain clear. But taking a look at the forecast for tonight, it says mostly cloudy and 35. I'm expecting rain. It's going to be rain on and off through the night. Temperatures probably going to be in the 40s. And as we go into the forecast for tomorrow, again, that's not right. It's going to be warmer than 40 degrees, and there's going to be rain. So we might get some flurries that mix in towards the end of the day. But again, if you're out tomorrow, don't listen to this. Pack your umbrella, pack a raincoat, and be ready for some wet weather, because it's going to be wet, kind of like it was today, kind of wet, kind of cool. Just be ready for that. And taking a look at our forecast lows for tonight, again, I wouldn't listen to that. Well, actually, I don't know. Yeah, it seems right, I guess. 35 in Ames, 39 in Decorah, 43 in Cedar Rapids, 30 out in Sioux City. And then as we take a look at our forecast highs for tomorrow, yeah, it's going to be cold, going to be raw, it's going to be raining. 40 in Ames, 38 in Dodge City, Fort Dodge, excuse me, 45 in Dubuque, and really just across the state, kind of just a cool day, going to have some rain in the area. And as we take a look at the temperatures for tomorrow, forecast high of 40, normally we're at about 50 for this time of year. So it's going to be a little cooler than average. So be ready for that as you're going out tomorrow, and not much of a change in temperature as we go through the day. We're going to start off around 40, mid-30s. We're going to get up to about 40 and then drop back down to the mid-30s by the end of the night. And taking a look at the week ahead, again, tomorrow 40 degrees, rain, and it's going to be kind of cool. But then as we go towards the end of the week, it's going to warm up a bit. And then as we get into early next week, I expect a pretty good warm-up.
Thank you, AJ, for that forecast. Now let's review tonight's trivia question. What is the record number of tornadoes in March in the United States? A, 30 tornadoes, B, 180 tornadoes, C, 201 tornadoes, or is it D, 306 tornadoes?
Well, I'm not sure. I know that with the tornado outbreaks we've had over the last couple of days, that's getting the number up there. There have been quite a few.
Very true. I'm pretty sure it's higher than 30, so that leaves the last three answers.
Right. Let's see Let's see what we've got.
Mm-hmm. And the answer was B, 180 tornadoes. Well, that concludes tonight's show. Please be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. You can find every show on YouTube under our Size Eyes channel. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you later, and have a great night.